as we said earlier, we'll break off into some one-on-one interviews and then some embargoed stuff for the Sundays as well after that. So yeah, over to you guys.
Shaun, I'll start there. Now, you just walked past the replica of the trophy in the corridor there. What does the FA Cup mean to this club, but obviously specifically to you as well?
To this club, it means everything. It's as you can see, there's pictures everywhere of that day and the run of that cup. So it's it's probably I know that we've had a lot of good times, but it's probably the greatest day for the club that we've had. And me, just an incredible day. It's probably the happiest I've been on a football pitch in that final. I think when you win here, it feels different to when I've won at other clubs, or particularly Celtic. Just the pure joy of that day was, like nothing I'd had before.
And your memories of the goal, it was your cross, wasn't it? Is that right?
Yeah. It doesn't. Just an incredible header. I think. I remember it really vividly. Really. I think just the story, the background of that story, and Ben and what he'd been through, breaking his leg, and then the whole game and how the sort of game unfolded. It was. It's really clear. The actual goal itself was, when I speak about joy, the actual game, that moment was just an incredible moment. Really difficult to put into words how much a teammate's sort of action can give you that much joy. So, just a brilliant time.
Can I ask you the same, Callum, player of the match at Wembley that day, obviously very early on in your career, but what are your memories of that final?
Unbelievable, yeah. Great day, loved it, but obviously it was a long time ago. It feels even longer time ago than 10 years, to be honest. Feels 20 years, but no, great day. I think everything just went right on the day. It was just perfect. Scored at the perfect time, I think. Just really good memories, great memories. But looking forward now, to Monday.
Yeah, what's the mood been around the squad this week among your teammates and yourself?
All the lads are buzzing. Everyone's looking forward to it. Everyone wants to play, and everyone wants to give it the best chance on Monday. So yeah, the atmosphere around the place is really good.
And in terms of opposition, just finally for me, Manchester United doesn't come much bigger in terms of English football. No. I don't think we could have got a better draw, to be honest. I think everyone's looking forward to it. I think we've got nothing to lose. Just go out there and express ourselves and be confident. Good luck, thank you.
Shaun, magic of the cup is the real belief that you can do it at the Giants?
I think there has to be belief. I think we understand the level of the opponent. I think I'm very aware of the history of the club. I love the history of that club, and I think the connection that it has obviously with Scotland, and some of the great people that they've had at their club. But yeah, I think we have to have belief. It'll be very, very difficult. They've got really talented players that on their day, they can be some of the best players in Premier League and Europe. I think what I have to try and create is a belief in our team. So my players have to feel from me that there's a belief that in certain moments of the game, I feel that the talent that our players have can come to the fore. So yeah, I have to give my players the belief that we can do it. We know it's going to be very, very difficult. We have to create a match that is extremely difficult for Man United. I think the history of that club is built on, or my experience of them in the mid-90s into the 2000s is a club that if you wanted to turn the game into a fight, they would fight you. If you wanted to try and outplay them, 9 times out of 10, they'd outplay you. So I have to ask this team, or at least try and ask this team the same questions. And it's my job to try and create a match like that.
So repeat the same question, but have you noticed there's more of a buzz, excitement around camp, and obviously you'll be training this weekend as well?
Yeah, I think around the club, I think training was pretty similar for me the last couple of days. We've actually had longer to prepare. Obviously, the Christmas break was really, really hectic. I think 9 days, 4 games. Actually, within the stadium, there's a lot more buzz, a lot more work going on, which it's amazing to see. It brings you back to those days when we're in the Premier League. I'd imagine now with training tomorrow, now starting to get a lot more focus to Man United, then it will change. The atmosphere will change to a seriousness of one, trying to stop some brilliant players, but on the other hand, I hope there's also a feeling that it's a brilliant game to go and show the talent that I know our players have.
Sure. From what you've seen with United in their season, do you see there is a vulnerability there that you can exploit?
I think you see that in any team. Look, I know we obviously prepare majority of the season against League One sides. I think in any team, whether they're in our division, the Championship, or the Premier League, there'll be areas defensively that you'll see that you can try and obviously take advantage of. But I also have to respect what they have particularly when they have the ball. Actually, even when they don't have it, they're really threatening and they're wide players. But yeah, there's always things that I think that we have to try and hurt them, or certain areas that we can hurt them. That's my job. I have to try and find them. I think when you play against a team in not just a division above, but 2 divisions above, and the level of player they have, I think you have to be aware of the talent that they have. So how we defend will have to be different to how we defend in League One. But at the same time, it's similar to the question I've been asked. I still have to give the players belief that I'm not going to change how we play when we have the ball. There might be a different strategy because I see something different, but my players still have to see from me that I'm not going to change the style of play because we play somebody so much different. We might have to defend slightly different, but I still want my players to feel like we're at home, we've got our supporters, it's going to be a sellout, we still have to play. And I want them to feel that confidence from me as well.
And you have that first experience of that rare thing of a Wigan win against United, the only one they've had in 19 games you scored in that. So I know it doesn't transfer now, but you've been there and been able to do it, so you've got to transfer that to the players and say, look, it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's situation's really different. It was 2 Premier League teams at that time, but I think when you mentioned the start of 18 out of 19 that they won, I think again it goes back to my experience or over the last 30 years of me following United is that they could do everything. They had a manager that instilled that. They've had captains through the years that had a deep desire not to get beat, and I think that was what my experience was against United. If you wanted to fight them, they would fight you, and they would win. And then if you wanted to play 9 times out of 10, or maybe even less, then they could play. So the only thing I'd say about games like that, games like the FA Cup final, other games that I've had in my career, and the really big games when you have a level of opponent that is different league or far superior resources, is that it comes from the manager. There has to be a belief within the manager that we can win this game, and that has to then transfer to the players. And I know it's going to be very difficult. Everyone will expect one result, expect Manchester United to be very dominant, but I still have to give my players a belief that there's moments in this game where I know that they can show their talent, and it's part of my job to create those moments, but they have to feel that belief from me, and I hope they do in the next 2 days and then leading into Monday.
That season you won the FA Cup, so it was followed by the lows of relegation, and I think maybe there was a debate at the time as to whether it'd be better to not be relegated and not won the cup, but I guess from a player's point of view, that's not the situation.
No, it can't be. It's look, I remember that question. I think again it was such a different time. In that period of time, the FA Cup run was just an incredible moment for the town and the club. But I also loved the Premier League. I loved playing here with the Premier League, with Wigan in the Premier League. I loved everything about it. Every match felt like a cup final. The travel, the opponents, some of the level of players you play against. So look, we've just been bought over, and we're at the very beginning of almost rebuilding this club. I think we still have dreams, and I know we're miles away from it now, but I think the dream still has to be that we get back to a certain level, because the level that you're speaking about it's a brilliant place to play. But I wouldn't swap the FA Cup win for Premier League status that year, no.
Can I just want to come as well, that season obviously the massive high for you, and was sort of going to be hopefully a springboard to great things, and I say maybe I don't know how you see your career, but obviously when winning the FA Cup is such a high, it's difficult to then beat that. How do you view your career since then? You've obviously come back here twice.
Yeah, obviously at 22, winning the FA Cup, it was hard to kind of match that and keep that up, and afterwards I found it hard to kind of get used to that. But yeah, I still think I've had a good career, but could it have been better? Yeah, of course. I think everyone, all the players would say that about their own careers as well, but yeah, just no one can take that day away from the lads and myself and everything, and now I'm just happy to be back here.
Well, guys.